people really value like humanizing your brand nowadays. You know, that's like a thing right now, like people just going raw with no makeup, all these things. But again, like staying true to your brand and having a relationship with your followers is the way to go.
Hi, I'm Josh Owen. As the owner of a video marketing company in New Orleans, I've been on the quest to learn everything I can about marketing. Everyone has a different style, different strategy, and a different experience. Is there a wrong way to do it? A right way to do it? Let's find out together as we make marketing make sense. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Make Marketing Make Sense. I'm here with Samira Medina of the New Orleans Chamber of Commerce, and she's the marketing coordinator. So we're going to learn some cool marketing facts today. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a pleasure, and it's always great to talk about what we're going to talk about, which is social media, the big elephant that everybody always was trying to, figure out, describe, understand. And today we're talking about social media creative. So I think you know a thing or two about that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah? Okay, good. Okay, we got the right.
Let's get into it.
So tell me, what to you is, what is, define for me, I guess, what social media creative means.
Yeah, so social media creative for me means bringing an idea to life. When you think about an idea, a product that you want to launch, a new business that you want to have, it comes with an idea. And then how do I figure it out and put it into a brand kind of thing? Like what colors, what fonts, like what is going to attract my customers and my followers and my people. So that to me is social media creative, which, saying it is super easy, but actually putting it into practice and doing it, it's not so easy. And like, how do I make these followers convert into like all these things, that, and then the algorithm.
Oh my gosh,
another
the algorithm.
thing that we could talk about and stay here for hours. But, that to me is social media creative, bringing an idea, a concept to a marketing plan.
Interesting. And so that's a really well-defined concept right there. So, within that, tell me, what are the steps that you take to be able to create social media creative like that?
So with that, I really want to talk about and emphasize this campaign that we recently created in the chamber that is called Think Local NOLA.
Think Local. Oh,
yes. And with the word, you can know what it is about, right? Like thinking local.
I'm assuming you're thinking local.
I am, and I hope all of you are. I really want to put that in as an example. We are the Chamber of Commerce. We are a member organization. We help our members through networking, education, and advocacy, and we're always brainstorming ideas on how to help our members grow, help their businesses, and that's how we came up with Think Local NOLA. And we had some meetings with Shop Small, and we were so excited. But at the same time, we had all these ideas in mind. And we were like, what do we pick? What do we do? It's a lot, You get overwhelmed when you're excited. So that's how we started with Think Local NOLA. And I think that something that was so important, a key point that is so important when you're bringing an idea to life is definitely define where are you going with it. Define a clear idea. So you're going to have all these ideas, and you're going to have to pick. And sometimes keeping it simple is the best way to go.
100%.
I want to emphasize that this campaign was done in less than 2 months. It was so quick, and sometimes we get overwhelmed with the whole marketing, and everyone's doing different things, and you're just like, what do I do? Do I have to do this? Do I have to focus on this? But I feel like defining that clear strategy, that clear idea is so important. And that's what we did with Think Local.
Right.
So definitely that. And then with that comes the second part, which is defining your target audience. And sometimes you need to be okay and understand that your brand or your product is not going to be for everyone. Right. That's okay. Not everyone's going to like your product or not everyone was built
or it's
for
not
it.
even for them. Right.
For them, exactly. So Think Local definitely, our target audience was people living in New Orleans, people that are willing to spend their dollars locally and also support businesses here. Why? Because there's a study that shows that for every $100 that you spend, $68 stay here. So whenever those dollars are spent locally,
this is
of course.
in New Orleans.
Yes. And then whenever you spend into like a national chain, only $43 stay here. So you see a difference there. And then
when you say stay here, you mean like invest back into here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's kind of like a multiplier effect.
Yeah.
So we love that. And with that study, we were like, okay, we're doing this. We're launching this.
Oh, wow.
And that's how kind of like it all started, defining our clear strategy. Where are we going with this? Like, why are we even doing this? And then who? Yeah. Who is going to be our target audience? And of course, people living in New Orleans. Yeah. And then with that comes my favorite part. This is my favorite part because I find myself being, like, ever since I was a little girl, I was very creative. And I loved colors and just, like, seeing things very, like, how do we call right now, like, very pleasingly to the eye. Always, like, aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. It's all about that aesthetic.
That's my word. So that's the third point that I want to talk about, and it's creating your visual content. That is so important because that is how kind of like you carry yourself and you carry your brand. And with Think Local, we wanted to keep it still tied to the chamber, so we use all the blue colors. We use the fleur-de-lis in the logo, which is, something that's super important here in New Orleans. But at the same time, we wanted to keep it colorful and fun and just inviting, like, why do we want to shop local? Like, why do we want to think local? Yeah. So this campaign was launched in November. So we were thinking more about, okay, people shopping local for Christmas. But we want to keep this campaign going. Right. So how I started doing all the visual branding is like I literally closed my eyes and I was like, how do I envision this? So I think that's a tip that I can give to people that really helped me. Just close your eyes, think about it. Right. Just think about it. Like, how do you visualize this? We see in a lot of brands that are more eco-friendly, we see a lot of greens, greens, whites, earth tones, and that automatically like catches our attention and our eye. I'm like, oh, this is healthy. This is better for the environment. Right. And maybe they're just using the colors, So that's what we wanted to do with Think Local. Like, this is part of the chamber, but also this is part of New Orleans. So keeping that blue and that movement, I think it's so important. And I think that one of the most important things that we've done with the chamber and with this Think Local campaign is investing in good photography. With this, I don't mean that you have to hire a photographer and pay thousands of dollars. I don't mean that by saying that, but I would say investing in good lighting and also a good camera phone. If you don't have a photographer, I feel like that was so...
Those phones are getting...
That was so important in our campaign. Yeah, the phones. Yeah. They have, like, super good cameras. Like, you don't have to have like a fancy camera. You could do a lot with your phone. These days you can do a
lot with it. So.
You see that all over social media. Right. So I think that was a big thing for the campaign. We included pictures of people smiling, people, holding hands and, kind of like smiling at each other. So I think that was like a very important piece of the Think Local campaign. Yeah. Just very positive, inviting, and just like, come here, shop local, think local. We're here for you. And then we also incorporated all these ideas into our posts. So we included like the statistics that I just gave you, the study that I just, all the statistics that I just gave you. And we also included some free ways on how people can help small businesses and local businesses, such as share, like, all these things,
The things you need to be reminded of, make sure you get this done, get that done. So,
Those things are free. And so we included that in our info packet that we send to our partners. And so far, so good. We're still working on it. But right now, we're actually, every month, we are highlighting one of our members. And for example, last month in January, was our... one of our members that she does biodegradable glitter. And then, for Mardi Gras, it's all about the glitter and fun. So we really wanted to highlight that member and just encourage people to think local.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, going through it in my head, we got like, the whole journey there.
Yeah.
But, the first thing that you talked about was strategy, right? And so like, building that strategy, I guess a lot of people can get caught up on that phase, I feel like,
Totally.
and, and you were saying you got this all together in 2 months.
Yes.
And so,
crazy.
you're like, you're whirlwinding over here. Like, and I wonder, what do you kind of, I mean, I think that for the better, definitely. So what advice for you to other people do you have about building out a good strategy that they don't spend too much time thinking about just getting out there? What are the ingredients that they need for that?
I think that it's just as simple as keep it simple, you know? Like I said, you're going to get overwhelmed with ideas. I've been there personally. I wanted to create all these things, and then I'm like, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Let's start with little by little, and then we can start incorporating things like I was telling you right now.
Yeah.
We wanted to highlight our members and all these things, but first let's get this out of the way, and then let's start incorporating things. But I think that's something super important is like, how is this going to impact people? How is this idea going to impact people? And then you have to believe in that.
Yeah.
You have to believe in your idea. And then sometimes, of course, it's hard to believe that something is going to be successful when you don't put it into action, but you just have to like go out there and try and do it. And I feel like the internet right now is such a good, powerful resource that we have. And just like with all the ChatGPT, ChatGPT can help you with all of that, which I'm a fan of, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, let's keep it, personal. And like, I want to be able to still think, and come up with my ideas. But all these things, all these tools, I would encourage people to use them because they are there for something.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted, before I talk about what you're talking about at the end there, I want to talk about something you mentioned earlier, which is keeping it simple. I think we all have these like ideas of what simple means, but like, what does simple really mean? Like, what is simple, creative content?
Right. So when I talk about simple, by that I mean we have these ideas, like with Think Local, for example. Like we wanted to maybe partner with this person and this person and the other person, but okay, who is available in this moment? And kind of like go from there, So we can't wait for everyone to be available. We can't wait for the perfect timing when it's sunny, and like we just have
all these elements.
We just have to do it, but at the same time, with excellence. That's what I'm saying. So like keeping it simple, as in like don't wait for the perfect moment, but as you go through it, do the steps right, kind of thing. I mean, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, because you're saying like when you're saying doing having an idea that doesn't require you to have so many pieces involved.
Exactly.
In it. So something simple, something that you can execute on easily.
Yes.
And which I like what you're saying is if you have a big idea, what's the smallest way you can do it, and then expand up from there back to that idea.
Right. And this is kind of like Think Local. I use Think Local as an example because it was something that was executed in like 2 months. But if you have the time, if you want to take your time, do it, but make sure that you have an ultimate goal and be like, I would say set a deadline. Yeah. Like if you have, for example, a whole year to think about a campaign that you want to launch, and it's okay, maybe it's more complex than Think Local, NOLA, I would say, yes, think about it. Make sure that you have, the idea, well executed and everything. But don't wait like 2 years in order to like launch. Just start it, kind of like if you're trying to build a brand or launch a new product or something like that. With products, it's a totally different thing. It requires a lot of attention and a lot of things, permits, which Think Local is something that was very simple. But I feel like people are still struggling with simple campaigns like that, and I don't want people to struggle because I want to tell them like it's not that
don't
hard.
Struggle that much, just get in there.
Don't struggle that much, yeah, because like I feel like these key points that I just gave are very important for like any idea or any social media creative that you just want to get out there and expose it to the public. Yeah. So,
and I guess the other part of that, which I know you talked about, is audience.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people struggle with this, and this is what I'm curious what you talk about, is like it's one thing to identify an audience, another thing to connect with that audience.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and how do you decide, how do you help or understand from your perspective, how do you give advice to people to connect with the audience, build a relationship with those audience members?
Yes, that's one of my favorite points when it comes to like social media and everything, because even though I love social media, I feel like a lot of people, a lot of brands just focus on building followers. And I have these many followers, but are your followers converting into clients,
Yeah.
you know? So I feel like the first thing that we need to do is define your success for your business, you know? Is your business success just having a lot of followers, or do you want those followers to be your clients as well? And there's a lot of businesses out there that have both. They have a lot of followers that are clients. And I feel like in the marketing world, that's success. You know, you want all these followers to be your clients, to love you, to like and share, and generally have a relationship with you and with your brand and with your business. So I feel like with Think Local NOLA, for sure, our members, we have a really good relationship with them. So they were so excited about this because we're the New Orleans Chamber. We are here for them. And I feel like this Think Local campaign was more about like not the chamber having this campaign. It was more about helping other people and bringing people together. And that's what we do. We're the connectors. We have networking events. We do all these things. And it's all tied up and connected to social media. You know, we share that through our social medias, through our social media visuals. We share people, you know, hugging each other, happy, all these things. So I would say definitely try to build relationships and not followers.
Right.
That is a no in marketing. Like don't try to just, you know.
It looks nice, but you want to, but I mean, what looks even better is when your pocketbook is.
Exactly. And how do you build that, you know? And by that is like staying true to your brand, being consistent, showing your face, you know, all these things behind the scenes. People really value like humanizing your brand nowadays. You know, that's like a thing right now, like people just going raw with no makeup, all these things. But again, like staying true to your brand and having a relationship with your followers is the way to go.
Yeah, because it's like, when you say that, like staying true to your brand, I mean, like, what do you do even to like get that engagement? Like, how do you get people, like, what kind of stuff have you been noticing that like pulls people in, you know?
I feel like definitely a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of our day to day, just again, simple stuff. People want to see like what you're doing behind like the camera. And we actually right now we have a lot of marketing ideas in the chamber when it comes to like, let's talk about like, what's Samira's favorite event? You know, more like, so whenever people come to these networking events, they don't feel like, oh my gosh, like the New Orleans Chamber, like how do I approach them? You know, we want to be super easily approachable, and we just want to help people with their businesses and connect with each other. So definitely that's a big thing. And I could be here talking hours about like building relationships through social media, because that's one of the reasons why I love social media so much. I've had so many good relationships through social media. And, you know, we always want to use social media for good purposes. Right.
Well, at least we hope, you know.
Yes, we hope.
There's a lot of noise out there, you know, so we'll see.
Yes.
But yeah, you know, I think at the end of the day, like what you're doing though is you're pushing for, you know, you're using that the relationships that you build in person, you're trying to bring them digitally.
Yes.
And that's what you're doing with this campaign. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it. Well, I think that's a great place for us to kind of like end it and, you know, end it and send it. I don't know what I'm even saying about that, you know. But no, thank you, Samira, for sharing all that wonderful wisdom with us.
Yeah, thank you for
also
having
sharing,
me.
I wasn't even really fully aware of this, you know, the local campaign you were doing. So that's awesome, you know.
Yeah, I'm glad you are now.
Yeah, we are now, and everybody, all of you are now too. You know, wherever you are.
Yes.
Well, tell us where can people find you on the digital sphere, as well as the New Orleans Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, so personally, I have like my own brand. I talk about health and wellness, which is my passion.
Okay.
I've been doing this ever since I was like 16 years old, and I do it through my Instagram channel, which is at Samira del Arca, which is Samira, Samira Delarca, and then you can follow the New Orleans Chamber of Commerce, so you know people can stay tuned with our events at nolachamber.org.
Awesome. Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Samira, for joining me. And this has been another fantastic episode of Make Marketing Make Sense. See you on the next one. This has been Make Marketing Make Sense, brought to you by Comfystone. If you need video content for social media, your website, or email marketing, hit up Comfystone at comfystone.com and follow Comfystone on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.